Jake Diebler just pulled off a surprise on the recruiting trail, adding an unexpected piece to the Buckeyes 2025 recruiting class.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a bonus episode of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during this hardwood huddle, we will discuss that the Buckeyes 2025 recruiting class was incomplete, as well as what the latest commit adds to the roster. But first, Jake Diebler has wasted no time filling in the holes in the Buckeyes roster and making the basketball team a lot better, from getting guys that were on the team last year to stay, to keep those leaders there, as well as adding a guy, 7-footer from Santa Clara via the transfer portal. I like what Diebler has done. But also he does some things at times that are surprising and are unexpected, like adding Myles Hero to the Buckeyes 2025 recruiting class. And yes, when you hear that name Hero, it is spelled with 2 R's because he is the brother of Tyler Herro. And I know when some people hear that name, they may be thinking, man, I don't want no Hero on the Buckeyes team. Well, Myles Hero can play, just like his brother can play. And I think that he is going to be one of those guys that will make an impact on the team in a few years from now, which is what you want. You aren't going to be a team or anybody in college basketball that's going to bring in a guy, and you can't expect everyone to play in year one. You can't. Because if you do that, you're going to be disappointed, or that player is going to be disappointed when the playing time is not what you told him it was going to be. For Myles Hero, he knows coming in he is going to be a developmental guy. But also, this recruiting class was a little incomplete because you look at just the incoming freshmen that are at Ohio State. The Buckeyes did sign 4-star forward Amari Bynum to join the 25 cycle. But then they also had Dorian Jones, who signed to play with Ohio State, but he pushed back his collegiate enrollment due to some academic eligibility issues. And so when you know that Dorian Jones, who's a guard, isn't coming to Ohio State right now to do some things away from the basketball court, you kind of got to figure out who you can quickly get to fill that void. And Myles Hero is that guy. Now, I do like some things, actually quite a bit of the things that Myles Hero does. As a senior at Whitnall High School there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, averaged 21.5 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, and 4.7 assists, standing at 6'3", about 175 pounds. If you're going to look him up on the recruiting sites to see what a star ranking is, you may not see the composite ranking at 247 Sports because he doesn't have one. Now, 247 Sports, just regular rankings, ranks him as the 40th best point guard in the country and the 10th best player in the state of Wisconsin. And if you're in the top 10 in any state, in any sport, you're doing something good. And I think the one thing I like about Myles Hero the best, he is a playmaker. He has some creative ball handling skills, and he can create for his teammates. Like, he does a lot of those things very, very well. But I love the 6'3" factor. Yeah, you can look at the 175. Maybe he's about 165. He is a skinny kid. That's one thing that I saw very quickly when I watched him play is his frame is very thin, so you know he's probably going to come in, be at least 185. You would assume he's going to gain that much weight when he gets to the basketball program to really start his collegiate career. But his playmaking ability, he has a jump shot. I mean, he is a good player, a very good player in high school. It's going to take him some time to get up to speed with college basketball, which is okay. I mean, honestly, that should be expected. I mean, like I said earlier, you're not going to want to lie to players and say, oh, you're going to come in and play right away, because for most guys, that's not realistic. And if you think he's going to and something happens on campus and he doesn't, you look like a fool because your evaluation was a little off, or you just promised something you couldn't deliver. I think Myles Hero is going to be a decent player in 2 to 3 years. Don't expect anything in 2025, 2026 season. Don't do that. If you do, or if he has to play a lot, that might mean the Buckeyes basketball team isn't as good as they should be. Speaking of Myles Hero, I think adding him along with the other additions this offseason are setting the Buckeyes up to make some noise next year. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, guys, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code Locked On College for half off your first year. Thank you all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes and making this bonus pod a part of your day. Speaking of making things a part of your day, I hope a lot of you diehard Buckeye football fans also are converted into being diehard Buckeye basketball fans, because this team is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And the offseason additions have gotten me excited about Buckeye basketball. I'm not going to lie to you, man. There were times last season that it was kind of tough watching them play. The style they're playing, the lack of consistent play, the up and down games that you saw for this team, it was not the best brand of basketball to watch. And I hope, I also expect it, because my expectations of Buckeye basketball are for them to compete with the other top teams in the conference, which will also allow them to compete with the other top teams in the country. I also think you should make the NCAA tournament, be competitive, and be a team that should be in the Sweet 16 / Elite 8 every single year. I understand Final Fours yearly isn't realistic, but you shouldn't be a team that is not in consideration to make the Final Four, even in the offseason conversations, for as long as the Buckeyes have been in those things. I think this roster in this team next year is going to be a really, really good team. I think about just the offseason additions, not just the incoming freshmen and Amari Bynum and Myles Hero. Looking forward to getting Dorian Jones on campus down the road, a guy from Richmond Heights there in Cleveland. But also, there's been a lot of other guys that Diebler's realized, hey, I got to get some size, I got to get some strength, I got to get some speed, got to get some shooters. He's done a great job. Gabe Cupps, the Indiana transfer, Kristoph Tilly, the one that I'm most excited about, 7-footer from Santa Clara, Brandon Noel from Wright State, and then also Joshua Ojanwa from Baylor. I knew I was going to butcher his last name. Say at 6'10", 230 pounds. He just needs to stay healthy. If he is able to stay healthy and get his feet under him, he possesses the size that you need down low, especially in the Big Ten, which is one of my biggest complaints with not just Diebler's boys, but also Holtman's boys, that you're bringing in guys that don't fit every role in the team. You got a shooter in John Mobley Jr. You got a really good point guard in Bruce Thornton. You got Devin Royal, who could do some things at 6'8", about 230. I have not seen a big man at Ohio State, a true big man, in quite a long time. I have seen tall man. I ain't seen big man. I think Felix Okpara at times, not at Ohio State anymore, was big man, but he was more tall man. Zed Key, before he shed the LBs, he was a little bit of a big man, more of your traditional sense. But when he shed those pounds, he lost a lot of the stuff that made him a force on the basketball court. And I get, like, wanting to be healthier and be lighter and move up and down the court a little bit better. Like, I understand all of that, which I'm not knocking it. I just think for the role in the basketball court, it wasn't the best. A center, a guy, a different sport actually, in football with Jeff Saturday. I recently saw a picture of just Jeff Saturday, former center for the Indianapolis Colts, that was also Peyton Manning's center for most of Peyton Manning's career, where Jeff Saturday, as a football player, doesn't look like the guy he is right now. Same person, he's just a lighter version of himself. Now, think about if Jeff Saturday, as a center in the NFL, was playing with his current body and makeup and his weight when he was trying to lead the Colts offensive line in the Peyton Manning days as a center. It wouldn't work. Many of you have seen Jeff Saturday on when he was on ESPN quite a bit. You would see like he was a slimmer person, looked really good, looked healthy. You couldn't do that in the NFL at center. You couldn't do that at all. And so for Zed Key, I get it. I think shedding the pounds really, really limited his productivity at his position before he transferred out of Ohio State. I like what Jake Diebler has done. I do think his all-season additions have been great, and it makes me excited about what the Buckeyes might be next year. Thank y'all for tapping into this bonus episode of Locked on Buckeyes, making this show a part of your day. Make sure you check out today's daily pod where we talked about CJ Hicks, Jason Moore, and Josh Padilla, and some things they must do this year to be productive Buckeyes in the fall. It's a show you don't want to miss. You also don't want to miss the portal with my guy, Brian Smith, who is keeping you up to date with the changes in college football, the NIL, the recruiting, the transfer portal. He is a man who's going to be covering it all. You can find the portal and Locked on Buckeyes on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. It's been Locked on Buckeyes right here on a Tuesday. We'll see you next time.